Hey everybody, it's Mike from Lifelong Abundance. We have Keurig machines where I work in an office environment, and fortunately, a lot of those K-cups are recyclable. Some of them aren't. Probably the majority of them are. So that's a good thing. The bad thing is that generally people just throw them in the trash can. For one, we don't have the kind of machines where you put it in, make your coffee, and then you pull it out. The machines we have, you put your K-cup in, pull this lever down, push the button to make your coffee, and then when you open it back up, it flips the K-cup into some bin inside of the machine. And then once or twice a day, there'll be a message saying, hey, you got to empty the K-cup bin. Most people will just take that out and throw it into the trash can. So there'll be 20 cups that go into the trash can right then. If I'm lucky enough to be around, or if someone that knows that I recycle this stuff is around, they'll put them in a separate bag for me. And about once or twice a week, I'll bring home a couple of lined shopping bags filled with these. At work, we do probably 150, 200 cups. I don't get to bring all this home because of, like I said, I'm not always around, and I just started this recently, so it's not like everybody knows that I do this. I do it for two big reasons. One is just the ecology, right? I'm a permaculture guy. I'm not an eco warrior, so I'm not going to go shame people that don't recycle them. But if it's something that we can do to help the planet, I'm going to do it. But also, I like the coffee in these things for my compost. Coffee acidifies the soil. Used grounds aren't so bad, but still, before you do that, you need to make sure that it's going to work for whatever kind of plants you're putting in. Compost at your own risk, I guess, the coffee. So, well, with that said, this video is about how I do it. So when I bring a bunch of these home, the first thing I do is I grab all these ones that are recyclable, because it's real easy to recycle these. The only thing that you can't recycle on these, well, maybe you can recycle all of it. I don't recycle the inside filter, and I'll show you why in just a second. But basically what I do with these is you just put your finger through that hole to make it bigger on top, and you pull the lid off. Now, sometimes the lid comes off like this one just did. Sometimes the lid comes off with the filter inside, and then you're left with just the cup. And maybe in this next 2 or 3 I'll show you how that works. But this seems like it's all plastic to me. It looks kind of foilish, but I'm pretty sure it's all plastic. So I'll set that aside, or sit it inside of one of the cups, the K-cups that I'm actually recycling. Then you can just dump out whatever coffee into your coffee compost container. Grab a hold of that filter inside of it and pull it out. Generally that thing comes off, leaving you this nice little plastic cup. You can upcycle these in that you can do something useful with them. A lot of people start their seeds in these. I just have enough room that I don't need to worry about starting seeds this little. I start seeds in bigger containers, if you saw my other video. So this is just, for me, it's just going to the recycle bin. But what you're left with is this filter. This filter is the thing that I'm not sure about recycling. And I'll tell you why. Once I get rid of all the coffee out of that, the filters in the K-cups that aren't recyclable are just like paper. They're just like normal coffee filters. But these are really tough. I mean, you can break them. You can poke holes in them, but as you can tell, they don't, I'm afraid they're not going to biodegrade that easily. It's kind of like one of those weed barriers that you put in your landscaping to keep the weeds from coming through, but it still lets the water through. I mean, if I put any kind of strength into it, I can obviously tear it apart, but the issue with me is I don't know how that's going to break down in a compost pile, so I'm more apt to just throw this thing and let it go to the recycle bin and say, sorry, they're not quite there yet on the 100% recyclable, but maybe they are. I mean, maybe someone leave a comment. If this thing is recyclable, let me know, and I'll try to figure out where to recycle it. So, to me, that one's going into the landfill. So that's unfortunate. But I'll do another one real quick just to see if it has the same issue. Yeah, so this one you see everything came out but the cup. So this cup, obviously, like I said, it can go back. Now I'll pull the filter and the lid across apart from this. And stick the lid in there and get as much coffee out of that as I can. These non-recyclable ones don't have all that neat way to just pull everything apart. So I made this little thing that holds a razor blade. If you want to make something like this, leave a comment and I can make another video showing you how I made this, but you'd have to be real careful. I mean, there's a razor blade in there, so you could really hurt yourself if you cut into yourself with that. So you do so at your own risk, but I can make a video showing you how I made the one for me. There's also a product on the market called a recycle cup, which I have one coming in the mail. I'll make another video on and show you how it works for me. But I really want to be able to burn through these things really fast, because doing 100 or so a week, I don't want to sit down here for 4 hours recycling these K-cups. So what I do with this is I just push it onto that blade, and you can see because it holds it now, it's into the blade, and then I can just spin it around. I can either spin the K-cup or I can spin the little contraption I made. And once I get it completely around, I can pull out that part. Now I have this little cup that I can send to the recycler. Unfortunately, I can't do everything for this, but I can then pull this apart, and the filter and the lid, plastic, so there's still a lot of plastic on there, come apart. This is going to the landfill. I can take that foil off and put it in where we recycle foil, but the plastic around there, it's a sandwich of foil, paper, and plastic, and they'll throw that out of the recycling facility, so it's not even worth it. But this is the filter that's inside the non-recyclable ones, and you can see, I mean, that one tears apart easy, just like a normal coffee filter would, and this definitely is going to go into my normal scrap recycling bin. But I can do another one of those just to show you kind of how it works. 15 minutes, well, probably a half an hour if I was doing it right. A couple pieces of wood, a razor blade, and some screws, and that's how I made that. So I stick it on there, I spin it around, and this time it looks like it's going to do the same deal. It's working out pretty good on this video. Throw that cup onto my plastic stack, pull the filter off, get as much of that as I can, and then take the filter, since I know that one's the one that'll easily break down, and put it in there to go to my normal compost pile. So that's how I do the K-cup recycling on my side. I got a bunch more to do, so with that, this is Mike from Lifelong Abundance saying, until next time, take care, guys.